Hello everybody, my name is LURKERS and welcome back to Amnesia. What's this?
Hello, my name is Mark Nikander. I'm a 3D artist and level creator at Fictional Games. I started out as a helper during Penumbra Overture, and I was finally hired as a full-time artist in the later part of Penumbra Black Plague. The entrance hall was first shown in our first gameplay trailer, and while the layout hasn't changed much, the details certainly have. We build our levels from sets of pieces, in this case, the custom-based set. While the carefully planned set pieces made level building very easy, the levels became very similar, and we had to make special pieces to the levels. Now, 1.5 years later, the special pieces make up about half of the pieces in the custom-based set, and we made changes to incorporate these objects into the earlier levels. An example of this can be seen if you compare the hole in the roof now with the one from the first trailer. The new roof was made in the middle of the project when you built level 9 back hall. A special version was made to give the roof hole in the entrance hall more depth and detail.
Scattered throughout the game, you can see some signs written in Latin. The reason for using it is that it was considered a language of culture and science. Scattered throughout the game.
Shut up, no.
If you haven't followed our development blog back when it started,
I can't stand it, no offense to another. Anyways, continue the story. That kind of creeped me out for a second. What the fuck that was? I must unlock after you get stuff out again.
This is one of the many hub levels in the game, and this is a design concept that we started out with in Penumbra. The idea is to give the player some freedom on where to go, but at the same time give a clear objective. In this level, the slime obstacle is a thing that the player needs to get past, and all other levels then have things needed to do so. The slime itself is one of the few puzzles left from the initial designs, and the one I'm probably the least proud of. Now that slime appears all around, it feels a bit forced that you need to have a potion on the slime. Many testers also complained that they wanted other options in getting rid of the slime, like burning it. However, creating a potion is the central theme for this hub, so we had to let it be. I don't think it's that bad, but we probably could have redesigned it if we had time.
Cool. Alright, that actually reminded me what I need to do. I need to... I still get freaked out by that, by the way. Right, there's somewhere else I need to head to get the next piece of the puzzle. Is this in there? Yeah, it's one back again. Nobody know. Break the window and get the phone. It sounds creepy as fuck though, it's kind of like, but it's creepy as hell. Don't think I've been here already, so that's locked. Slotinic. 100% sure, but I'm gonna go back to the laboratory and see if there's anything else from there. I am more or less stuck at this point. So, we're gonna be here for a while. Well, that's from this point on, I must probably do a speedrun. Ow. Oh, hello.
That taste, that fragrance, the master's rose.
The particle editor is also a fine part of the tool bundle, and it is what we use to create particle effects for maps and events. We use particles to do nice effects like the flames in torches and the smoke that comes out from them. All we have to do is add one or more particle emitters, set up some parameters like starting position and speed, on all sorts of fadings in size, color or speed. It's funny how you can simulate all kinds of effects with such simple elements. I very much recommend you to try it yourself.
In early concepts, this was meant to be a sort of wine testing room and directly connected to the wine cellar. The reason for the whole wine testing thingy was that we planned on having more laboratories in later levels, so a lab here as well felt kind of strange. Then things changed and only one lab was left in the design, so we changed the name to laboratory instead. The whole wine testing facility that could make dangerous acid always felt kind of strange anyways.
What's nice to listen to? What's over there? One day I'll return. If it wasn't for the thought of it, I need to head out someplace else. As soon as I look back in, I'm going to go back into the wine cellar, and it became impossible to avoid. He came rusting in the street to beg to his attention. As he opened the shutters, his front soldiers opened fire, and two young men fighting back. The place was silent and haze of gun smoke. Jesus. Basically what I'm going to do, as soon as the wine cellar loads up, I'm just going to shit myself. As soon as the wine cellar loads up, I'm going to speed it up. Until something funny happens, I get caught by the enemy, because the enemy's in here, that's why I got to fuck. So, I take it everything must be in the wine cellar. I don't know, I've never actually bothered researching it, because I don't want to ruin the story for myself. So, as soon as it loads, everything will be sped up. See you guys. Well, let me...
A major design guideline for us was to give each level a unique theme, something that all puzzles, events, and the general atmosphere was built upon. This makes each level a little piece of the story and theme at large, and also gives them focus so the player is not distracted with too much information. The theme in this level is the strange creatures that lurk in the castle. The player first spots them momentarily in archives, so now is the perfect place to build some fear. There is never any real threat in this level, but it's much darker than any before, and there's a constant pressure with boards creaking in the light. The flashbacks also give hints of where the strange creatures come from, making all events focused on the level's central theme.
You just told me there's no real threat here. I wonder why these are here for me though.
The basic structure of the earlier levels in the game has been built by me. I have not created the models or anything like that, but I have built the levels with the graphics from the artists using our level editor. This was the very reason for us to create the level editor, as it would allow for the whole team to work on levels, building them from scratch if so needed. For our previous Penumbra games, you could perhaps tweak a level a little bit, but making a whole level was the job for an artist and no one else. In the early days of the Amnesia project, the artists had their hands full with making graphics, and so I was the one building the levels. Looking at the levels now, a lot of things have changed and improved, but the base is still there. Showing that the idea to create the level editor was a sound one of the few things, in fact, with the Amnesia project that has not been scrapped, reworked or modified heavily.
Right there, I can get out of the game. hell? Massive. Oh, fucking hell. I can hear footsteps and it's freaking me the fuck out. I'm not even moving. I know the people said there's no real threat here, but oh fucking shit. Fucking honestly, you can hear footsteps and it's literally freaking me the fuck out. Oh, I don't like this anymore. Where's the last one? I'm just gonna fuck it bolting out of it. I don't know what that fucking sound was, but it's like someone's like, is this when you know someone's behind you? As soon as you look behind you, it's not there. It's that kind of feeling. It's freaking me the fuck out. The booze is slight headache. Alright, let's get back into the laboratory and get this shit sorted. That's the exact same thing as before. I am still shitting the fuck out, honestly. Probably no threat here because it's a laboratory, but I know for a fact there's none, but
It's so cold.
I have a feeling I'm going to be seeing them in a minute. It's a shotgun, dude. I could do it again, but I need a pause. Oh, fuck. See a written in his journal. That's it. Diaries. Mementos. Stairs collapse. Find a way to climb back up. I was thinking through here. Obviously not. Finally. Good God. Outcast. Trophy. Shit, I should have just used it on the front door and got the fuck. Crystal clear.
This level was first called Distillery, and if you check the data file, it's still named as such. Now, for some reason I told Mikke, a writer, that it was called Refinery, and the voiceover was recorded with the wrong name. Since it's easier to change a name than a piece of voice data, we had to rename it. I'm glad I said Refinery though, and not King's Hall or Grandma's Vegetable Patch. That would not have been as fitting.
It sure is dark in here.
Yes, and there's a good reason for it. But you can light the lamp now if you wish.
What's the reason? For the darkness, that is.
Stay close. Be careful not to stray.
What's the reason? Why is it so dark?
Pay attention, Daniel. It's important that you keep going straight and make sure not to stray.
That's very useful. Me, man.
22nd of June, 1839. It's been more than a month since my last entry. After the event inside the underground chamber in Algeria, Professor Herbert insisted I return to England. He said he didn't want to risk forfeiting the entire expedition lest I took a turn for the worse. An excessive decision, in retrospect. But I'm glad it turned out that way. I found my journal this morning in the haphazard collection of things brought home from Africa. Next to it lay the broken stone orb wrapped in cloth. I tried to assemble it, but couldn't. The pieces wouldn't fit together, as if they weren't from the same object. Could I have imagined it all? Was there ever a complete orb?
I'm going to put out tinder boxes now. That's creepy.
The end puzzle with the crank and pulley contraption was a tricky puzzle, not to create or on a technical level, but purely on a noticeable level. We added stuff to the puzzle perhaps 4 or 5 times because after each test session we kept having testers that did not see the piece of wood that you are to break to complete the puzzle. Originally you could only break it, so we added the option to pull it out as well. Then we added a faint light to draw the attention to it, and also tweaked the description of the crank. After that we added so that when you pull the crank there is a bit of dust falling from the piece of wood, and we also did a slight change in the angle of the piece of wood and changed the color and the texture, all to make it as notable as possible. So, the question is, did you notice the piece of wood?
Exit of June, 1839. I feel the need to continue this journal, even though it was intended for my journey to Africa. This must be something very important. I just know it. I've taken it upon myself to piece the orb back together, but it's been more difficult than one might think. The pieces are behaving strangely. They seem to change color, shape, and texture, but ever so slightly. Yesterday, I took careful measurements and notated any significant markings. Today, I confirmed my suspicions. They were changing. I was terrified and rushed off to see the finest geologist in London, Sir William Smith. I approached the subject with care and we discussed how rocks change form. He told me about the nature of glass, how it eventually collapses on itself, like ice slowly melting over the course of centuries. Smith eased my mind a bit, but I can't escape the feeling that these shards have otherworldly properties.
Sanity ... That's insane. I feel like such a fucking idiot. Ah, you fucker. Ruin the screen, bro. LURKERS. Across the surface, the dark Atlantic waters smothered him to struggle to make sense of the situation.
The composer from Amnesia: The Dark Descent. You may have heard my music before if you played the Penumbra game series, and I did a couple of tracks for Penumbra Tech Demo too. So this is my 5th project with Frictional Games, and I'm happy to be a part of the team. The Guardian monster has its own musical theme, which you can hear in many situations in the game, even if the Guardian is not physically present. Actually, it's more like a noise sound than a certain melody, and I played it with my bassoon. The theme has many forms, and this one is almost a direct sound coming from the instrument. And this noise, which sounds like screaming, is a highly modified version of it.
Invisible as well. Shit.
At first, the creature in the water, affectionately called Lurky here at Frictional Games, did not have a sense of sound. Later on we wanted to add it though, so the player could lure it away by throwing stuff in the water. When I added this, something unexpected happened. Lurky started following me. When you jump on the crate, it hears the sound you make when you land and it goes there to investigate. This was very fun emergent behavior, and I think it made him even more menacing. I also want to add that Lurker was kind of inspired by my favorite movie as a child, Tremors. I guess this early obsession might also explain some creatures in our older games.
Oh, that's just... I can hear when it starts speeding up, so that happens. Should one of these turn up? Fuck, forgot about that. Go for that. Oil. I think. I don't know what to climb a royal, so pretty much stuck like that. I have a fucking time. I keep falling, I'm trying to rush at the same time, the buttons are not working. Fucking another one, of course. Grab it. Fuck you. Ah, I couldn't get there. She just barely got there. Dead. Here's what's gonna happen. Their flesh can add to distraction, I know that. Where's the spot? Right, okay. I must have knocked one of the arms off by mistake. Oh, I get to keep this shit I have. Our customers have made it. Something large pushed against his leg. The felons have been dragged out to come the beast. Pushed himself up to set his help required, and as the ocean swallowed him again. This is the first time I've died. Something happened to turn insane as it had turned.
Hi, I am Tapio, and I made monster sounds and vision sounds for this game. Yeah, I just love this monster. I think it was pretty fun to make because there was underwater sounds as well as sounds from the above. I think I wanted it to sound like a very big monster, but still very fast. And I thought that voice itself needed to be high-pitched screaming because water is splashing around and messing other sounds. Actually, a great example is the attack sound, where there is big water splash as it jumps from the water. At the same time, you can hear a short scream sound, which is made from the cat sounds. And I think it works great. I think other great sound is when it's just eating in the level. You can hear it eating meat and hear the bones crashing under the water. I made the eating sounds by walking in the water and breaking dry wooden sticks. The sound itself didn't need much processing or editing, because it sounded almost like you hear now. Well, this is Water Monster, so I recorded lots of water sounds. For example, bubble sounds are made with a watering can, which is sunken in the water. And when it stays in the player, its movement is made by a big rock, which I just threw in the lake. It feels like it's running after you or hitting its big hands on the water. I think there is lots of power in this monster.
Cool story. So that's just basically, I don't know why these are here. If someone knows why they're there, someone in the comments let me know, because to be honest I ended up using them just to kind of like, you know, catch my breath, calm down and shit. That's what I was using them for. It is a very good game. I have to hand the developer props. It's good with the ambient sounds. You know in your head there's nothing around, because you've been told by the developer, but it's still got that funny feeling in the back of your mind, like, oh shit, you know. It is a pretty good fucking game. I can't really deny that.
This level is the high point of the Lurker build-up, which sort of started in an entrance level with the slime appearing. It's supposed to be a sort of roller coaster ride and is designed to be easy enough to be completed on the first try. Yet, it should also be stressful. Many of the things in a level that seems like you barely make it are just scripted to be that way. But it's nothing you notice because they're blended in with the truly deadly stuff.
The title of that was Playing with the Player. As you say, oh yes, we're fucking with you. Hey, just basically blatantly saying we are fucking with you. I hope you enjoy the game. That's what it basically feels like. Cheeky fuckers. Such like a quick reader because fucking hell. I mean, I've already been in war in GTA earlier today, so this is kind of taxing whatever resource or ability I have left. Let's go with it. Open. Open the fucking door. Oh no, it's chasing me and I have to run. Shit, that's how I still gotta run. I'm running out of Oh. It's exhilarating. This guy's got escape artist as well.
This is the second hub level of the game, and it's supposed to give some contrast to this stressful lurker encounter. We think building up contrast like this is extremely important for the horror room. Only by seeing a bright level can you appreciate the dark one, and so on. If you do not do this, the player will get used to the stuff and the effect will lessen greatly.
So fair point. Yeah, I'm appreciating this shit right now. Oh, that's creepy. Oh, that's freaky. Oh, I don't think I'm doing it now. Still you. Wait a minute. I recognize you. No, not in the game, not this game entirely. This area alone reminds me of the first Assassin's Creed. Like here you would have the bosses at the desk and attack into. And in the center, I would say roughly around here is where you have the Animus. I know it's not like the first Assassin's Creed, but it's very similar to it. I'd say this place is kind of like your safe room, I would say. No one can get you here.
In the original pitch, Herbert was a fairly important character, but it didn't really reflect in the game, so we tried a few different things to incorporate him, but it never really made any sense. Herbert was important to Daniel's background, but in the end he didn't have any impact on the story happening right now, that is, the conflict between Daniel and Alexander. So most of his things was cut during the last stage of production.
Okay. So we've got a storage room there, we have camera that one, well, there's a room there, and it seems like this door kind of opened up first. I would say this is where I need to go.
You
have an ascending room. Will it take us to the inner sanctum?
It will definitely take care of the vertical part of our journey. So, you have ridden an elevator before?
Yes, the Colosseum at Regent's Park has one. It takes you to the gallery where you can view the panorama.
Good. This ride might be a little longer, and in the other direction.
Daniel had been down there to defend the story.
When I first started working on the elevator, I had detailed concept art as base for my work. This is both a blessing and a curse. Concept art saves a lot of time for us artists, as we just have to copy what we see in the picture, but it also takes away some fun parts of our work, as we don't have to design anything ourselves. In this case, the concept art was very detailed and there wasn't much to change. However, I noticed that the roof part on the concept was dark and dull. That's where I could add details of my own. I added the patterns to fill out the empty space. I wanted them to fit with the eastern feel of the elevator and took inspiration from Arabic windows. In the end, it's not a very big addition, but it adds to the overall impression of the elevator as something exotic that doesn't really fit in with the blue-grey stones of Brandenburg.
That's just pretty interesting, you gotta be honest. There's a reason how they built the game and that, but for now I am going to end this here. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for updates when I upload and when I start live streaming. But for now, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all